Okay, Gavin, it's your turn.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. And it's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you. I know I met a lot of you last night, but I'm really excited about telling my story today. And I've been given 30 minutes. I could really talk all day, but if I talk too much, please, Katie, just stop me. But here we go. So good morning, everyone. Today I'm here to share my deeply personal journey. It's a journey from a challenging diagnosis to the creation of what is now Sjögren's Australia. It's a story about turning my pain into purpose, and here we go. So life as I knew it. Imagine I was a fit, young professional firefighter. I was someone who ran into danger to help others while others are running away. I'm a husband, a father of 3, and I've got an 8-year-old boy, a 6-year-old boy, and a 2-year-old girl, and they would absolutely murder me if I didn't mention them. So it's Billy, Zach, and Maddie. And they've been absolutely supportive to me so much, so I thank them so very much. Sorry, just go back. Now imagine being told that your body is slowly attacking itself from the inside, and really that's the truth for Sjögren's patients all around the world. Sorry, I'm just having a bit of trouble with the mouse here. That's all right. No, that's all right. I've got it here. So I was a very picture of health and strength, and I never actually thought that I'd be in this position. Thank you for welcoming me again to the Sjögren's second Patients Europe conference. Now imagine being told that your body's slowly attacking itself from inside, and that is the reality for Sjögren's patients all around the world. Your life gets pulled from under your feet when you are seemingly healthy. In some ways, the hardest part of this disease is not only the disease itself, but it's the journey to diagnosis, as many of you I'm sure can relate. It's a journey of repeated tests, many visits to specialists, referrals to different specialists that take time, and often you're left with no path to follow. In the end, I had to advocate for myself, and I had no choice but to forge my own path forward to help myself, my family, and others in Australia who I recognised were struggling with this disease. Today, I'd like to share my moments of pain, frustration, and disbelief, how they became my inspiration and the start of something bigger, which is Sjögren's Australia. And all of us in the room have been touched in some way or another by Sjögren's, so please, if you see me over the next couple of days, make yourself familiar, share your story, because together we can be so much stronger as a community and create so much positive change. Now imagine, that's my day job. I'm a firefighter. So working as a full-time professional firefighter, and I have been for the last 14 years, I never, ever, ever thought this would happen to me. I never thought I would be sick. I was 100% healthy, 100% happy, and living a great life in Melbourne, Australia. My partner Daria is an intensive care paramedic for Ambulance Victoria in Melbourne, Australia. Our lives have been helping others, and we never thought we'd have to help ourselves. We're both shift workers, working extremely stressful jobs while juggling the parenting and coping with the life-altering impacts of chronic disease. My first symptoms appeared in 2022. I was in the shower one day, and it began with overwhelming, pinprick sensations in my feet. And being a young male, I just thought, that'll go away, it's nothing. These things come and go. But unfortunately, that was the beginning of a downward spiral. And from there, it was the dry eyes, overwhelming fatigue, brain fog, dry skin, and it all just came. It all came so quickly. Now, these are symptoms which in isolation can be caused by a number of things, which I suppose leads to the misdiagnosis of Sjögren's in a lot of cases. It was impossible to ignore when I was unable to sleep for longer than 2 hours at a time. I'd wake up every 2 hours at night with a feeling of like shards of glass or sand in my eyes. It was absolutely torturous. The inflammation was just unbearable. But looking back, dry eyes had always been a part of my life in some way. I just chalked it up to my work history as a plumber. Before I was a firefighter, I worked as a plumber. I was used to working in dry and dusty environments where I'd get stuff in my eye and I just couldn't get it out. I thought that was normal. I knew this time it was different, so I had to seek some medical help. I went to the GP and he took one look at me and he said, "You're midlife and you've got 3 kids, you've got a mortgage, it's just stress." And he just sent me away. I knew something was wrong. I had to keep pushing, so I went to an optometrist and he raised the possibility of Sjögren's disease, so funnily enough. But getting that suggestion taken seriously, it felt like shouting into a void. It was terrible. I actually had to wait 3.5 months to see a junior rheumatologist, and my bloods don't show any autoantibodies, so I'm classed as seronegative, which up to 40% of patients can be, which also just led him to saying, there's no point getting a lip biopsy, there's no treatments anyway. If we do diagnose you with Sjögren's, you're just going to get over-the-counter eye drops. And those words stick with me today, and that's something that I'll never forget what he said to me, and that's something that I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. So to any medical professionals, I just really urge you to watch your bedside manner. What followed after that was a blur of medical appointments, more dead ends, more dismissals. So I saw these are some of the things that I heard along the way actually through my diagnosis. Some people didn't know how to pronounce Sjögren's. You should see a psychologist. Over-the-counter eye drops are all you need. There's no point getting a lip biopsy. There's no treatments anyway. Only old ladies get Sjögren's. I'm not one of those people. It's probably just stress or a virus. Young men don't get Sjögren's. It's just a nuisance syndrome. I heard that last one so many times when I was overwhelmingly in so much pain. It was very, very frustrating. I went and saw another rheumatologist who then commented how he'd only seen one diagnosed male in his 40-year career. Since then, he's retired, and I've spoke to other rheumatologists about him, and he was, probably not the best person to see. Finally, I saw a local optometrist who specialised in dry eyes, and he took one look at my eyes and said, "I can guarantee that something's going on, probably Sjögren's. I really urge you to push for a diagnosis." He prescribed me Sequa, cyclosporin eye drops, and that was my first path to relief. So finally something, that was 6 months after my first symptoms, finally someone had given me some relief. But I was still undiagnosed, and I really, really felt invisible within the medical system in Australia. I ended up burning through nearly all of my sick leave at work, which puts a huge toll on me and my family. I was trying to survive, just trying to raise a family. I was navigating a collapsing sense of self when I was struggling to turn up to work and just be myself. I was exhausted, but I knew I had to keep pushing for answers. And honestly, I was angry. I was so angry that I'd been dismissed by so many doctors, and that's really what led me to being here today. Eventually, supported by my family, I forced an admission to a local private hospital. Now, in Australia, there's no path to be admitted to a hospital under rheumatology or immunology. They had classed me as a mental health patient. That's the only way they could get me into the hospital to get me a diagnosis and get me a lip biopsy straight away. So as soon as I attended the hospital, I saw the inpatient ophthalmology team who took one look at my eyes, and they said, "We can guarantee that your lip biopsy will be positive tomorrow." And again, those words stick with me today. So once I had my diagnosis confirmed through the lip biopsy, it was a confirmation that what I'd been feeling wasn't just only in my head, it was real. It took me close to a year to get that diagnosis, and that's not unusual. On average, it can take patients up to 4 to 7 years, a number that is a lot higher in Australia. Often seeing multiple specialists along the way, it's the second most common autoimmune disease after rheumatoid arthritis, and it affects an estimated 1 in 100 people in Australia, the majority of whom are women. But awareness remains shockingly low. Many health professionals within Australia have never even heard of Sjögren's disease. After my diagnosis, I looked for support. There was none. There was no National Australia organisation, no coordinated care, just isolated voices in online forums, just trying to make sense of it all. That's when I discovered a small Facebook group within Australia sharing stories that mirrored my own. People were desperate and they were looking for answers, and this was my cue to create something in Australia to help people. A fire had been lit within me. Now, this anger that I felt, that deep sense of anger, when I channeled it, it built something powerful, and that's where my story started to turn. And I quickly discovered that sharing my personal story wasn't just therapeutic, it was powerful, and it opened doors as well. So that's the power of the lived experience and the personal Sjögren's experience in Australia. My story became our story. I did not want anyone else to experience the same challenges and dismissals that I had. I wanted to do something for the thousands of Australians suffering in silence, and I began working on an organisation that could give us a fighting chance. Sjögren's Australia was my pipe dream, to provide patients with a credible central place of support and reference. I reached out to as many subject matter experts from all around the world. So to anyone here who may have received an email or a call or an unsolicited message from me, I apologise, but it was done with the best of intent to try and build this organisation. So I'll take you back to 2024 when we started. I gathered a board of directors. We founded officially Sjögren's Australia as a not-for-profit charity, the first official Australia organisation for Sjögren's patients. My flurry of emails and calls around the world finally found fruit, and I was introduced to Dr. Maureen Rissmuller. Some of you may be aware of Dr. Rissmuller. She's a rheumatologist based in South Australia, and she's been instrumental in her support of Sjögren's Australia, and we simply could not exist without her. She's a long-time Sjögren's expert and researcher, and Australia's leading mind when it comes to this disease. Maureen also holds a deep commitment to our patient community. Building this organisation was one of the most challenging but rewarding things I've done in my life. Sincere passion, thousands of volunteered hours has helped us get to where we are today. I still can't believe I'm standing here talking to everyone. I was only diagnosed in 2022. We were officially registered in August 2024, and we launched virtually this year on June the 2nd. So we are very, very young. Maureen has generously introduced us to a network of Sjögren's interested specialists in Australia. My heart was beginning to warm again because there were people in Australia that cared. They were just so hard to find. So that consisted of rheumatologists, immunologists, researchers. They did exist. So through Maureen's network, we were able to secure a medical panel and not limited to one specific field. So this is our medical panel. We've got Dr. Maureen Rissmuller. She's our lead rheumatologist and a really leading Sjögren's mind in Australia. Dr. Fabian Vincent is an internationally trained rheumatologist, but currently working as a full-time researcher in Australia, currently focused on autoimmune diseases. Dr. Adrian Lee works at Westmead Hospital in Sydney. He's an immunologist and an extremely empathetic person towards Sjögren's patients. We've also got Dr. Alberta Hoy, who is a Melbourne-based rheumatologist, really young and energetic, and she's off to do a year's secondment at a cancer centre in Victoria on CAR-T therapy for autoimmune disease, so it'll be really interesting to see what comes out of that. Dr. Jane Barocchi is our dentist who looks after all the oral manifestations, and we've also got Professor Laura Downey, who's an optical researcher. She's actually got a lab named after her at the University of Melbourne. So to complement our medical advisory panel, we've got our patient advisory panel that's made up of 9 patients who provide lived experience and support to the board. So this lived experience is crucial to guide the board in our initiatives and what we do. So through regular meetings, patient panel provides ideas and support and helps steer the organisation in the way that matters most, and really puts what is important at the forefront, and that's us, the patients. So our launch and initiatives, since we launched this year in June, which really isn't that long ago, the momentum has been nothing short of overwhelming and head spinning. We've received over $15,000 in donations, which blew me away. It's great, but we need so much more to remain relevant and remain self-sufficient. We've got now over 400 patients in our patient community, and as I sit here, I can feel my phone vibrating, and people are signing up probably on average 5 or 6 a week, and it's really good to see. It's a totally free service, so there's no fees. We don't want to burden patients yet with any sort of costs. We just want to provide them with support and put them at the forefront of the latest news to come out of the Sjögren's world. So this has not only brought a sense of relief to patients in Australia who previously have had nothing. They've had no central resource, no source of information, and if they wanted to find out about Sjögren's disease, they'd have to trawl the internet through the thousands of studies and try and make sense of it all, or alternatively turn to strong organisations like Sjögren's Europe or the Sjögren's Foundation for information, but unfortunately there was nothing in Australia. There was absolutely zero. So this has given them a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose, and all this is grounded in compassion and science backed by our medical panel. Our initiatives to date, we have done some amazing initiatives in such a short amount of time, and one of the key initiatives was meeting with a Victorian politician, and I hope I've got enough time to show the video at the end of this presentation, but she took our story and her story to the floor of Victoria's upper house of Parliament. She's a Sjögren's disease patient as well. She's young and she struggles, and we've made a great connection with her. So this is, I firmly believe that that's the first time that Sjögren's was ever mentioned in Australian Parliament, so that's a huge achievement. We've also met with a lot of other politicians who are keen to back our cause, and on top of that, we also held our first patient information session via Zoom, where we had over 200 patients sign up to hear the latest in Sjögren's news. That was hosted by Dr. Adrian Lee, who's on our medical panel. We've been connected with different pharmaceutical companies such as Novartis and Amgen, and we continue to assist them with their development of Sjögren's treatments. We've also developed strong connections with overseas organisations such as Sjögren's Europe, and we look forward to building and strengthening those relationships as the future comes. There's a story about to air in Australia on the ABC, which is Australia's national broadcaster, about myself, about Maureen, and about the story of Sjögren's Australia. So that'll air this week, and I hope to share a copy with everyone if I can, but hopefully that can really build some momentum and awareness of who we are and what we're about. We've also got lots of work happening right now to implement a dedicated nurse. Because there is such a severe lack of rheumatologists who specialise in Sjögren's in Australia, we want to provide a nurse to patients to be able to assist them in their diagnosis procedure and their treatment ongoing. So feedback to date, this is some of the feedback that we've heard, and I've never been involved in such a helpful community and such a amazing bunch of people who are so willing to help each other. So to everyone, thank you for your assistance. But this is some of the feedback we've heard from patients and medical people from around Australia. You exist, a wonderful thing. That just goes to show that there was nothing out there before. I'd love to be on your mailing list. Thank you. This is long overdue. I'm honoured to be a part of this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, Sjögren's Australia's mission is bold but urgent. It's to support patients and families, educate health professionals about Sjögren's disease, advocate for enhanced research, better treatment access and policy reform within government, push for earlier diagnosis. I don't want anyone to go through what I went through, and particularly within women's health, who I see many women just dismissed by doctors over and over again. Support, thrive and survive is our motto. For me, and like many other Sjögren's patients, the battle isn't over. Right now, I'm sort of hanging on to my job with not much sick leave left. The financial toll of living with Sjögren's disease is just so overwhelming. It's really hard to live. I'm sure many people here can attest to that. When you add the costs of over-the-counter treatments, vitamins, all the extra stuff, all the specialist appointments, the burden becomes overwhelming. Sjögren's is a disease that hides in plain sight until it knocks you off your feet. Challenges. So we're not without our future and current challenges. It's a full-time job, both running Sjögren's Australia and keeping the momentum up while working in my other full-time job, which really impacts my family heavily, but they've been so supportive. A major one is securing ongoing funding, and this is something I'm working so hard on at the moment. We really need to become a self-sufficient organisation, so we're currently exploring industry sponsorships, pharmaceutical partnerships, anything we can do to sort of build our self-sufficient model. Remaining relevant in the public health arena is also a full-time job, and I'm extremely motivated and happy to do all the heavy lifting to keep the momentum up, because this is a cause that's so close to my heart, and I just feel so deeply for all those suffering. keeping volunteers engaged. Now, we've got a panel of 9 volunteers, but I understand that having Sjögren's disease is hard enough, let alone volunteering your time whilst having a full-time job or trying to earn money. You know, it's so hard to keep those people engaged. So that's why we aim to create a deep pool of volunteers to draw from. Engaging with Australian-based specialists has been so hard. There's a severe lack of rheumatologists in Australia, so it's hard to engage with the ones who are sort of set in their ways, and let alone a small pipeline of rheumatologists coming through the system. Another challenge that can't be ignored is recognising and supporting seronegative patients, such as myself, those who show every symptom but lack the blood markers. Too many are dismissed, excluded from trials, and denied access to treatment. Recognising their experience is vital to ensure every patient is believed and supported. Now, these challenges are so worth it because every new connection we make, every patient who feels supported, it reminds me why this work matters so much. So Sjögren's is often invisible until it stops you in your tracks. Like so many patients, I spent years being dismissed before finally receiving a diagnosis. That's why I founded Sjögren's Australia, and I'm here today to not only make this disease visible down under, but to help you tell the Sjögren's story wherever you may be. Now, really, thank you so much for hearing my story, and if you have any questions, please ask at the end or contact me during the conference. On a side note, for anyone in the room with an interest in ophthalmology, our round logo is based upon the pattern that was created when the optometrist did the fluorescein dye test on my eyes to look for dry spots. So it was very similar to that pattern because my eyes were so dry. That's obviously an exaggerated version, but it was so bad that he took a still picture of it and showed me, and he said, "This is what your eye looks like." And so I've based our logo upon that picture. Thank you so much, and in a cheesy way, if you see me around a conference, say good day, but yeah, I'm really keen to make as many connections and friends as I can, so thank you for hearing my story, and I've just got a really short video, if I can fit it in, just of Georgie Purcell, our parliamentarian, delivering her speech. Yeah, good. Can we fit it in? Awesome, can we play the video?
Thank you, President. My adjournment matter this evening is for the Minister for Health, and the action I seek is for her to meet with Sjögren's Australia, a newly formed organisation advocating for better awareness, understanding, support and research for people suffering with this hugely misunderstood chronic illness. This is a matter that is incredibly close to my own heart. It is not something that I speak of often, but I was just 26 years old when I was diagnosed with Sjögren's syndrome. It came with a huge sense of relief to finally have answers to the symptoms and years of mystery hospitalisations. But it also came with a huge sense of sadness, knowing there is no cure and that it is a progressive condition, meaning that it only worsens with age. A Google search of Sjögren's will tell you that it is an autoimmune disease that is categorised by dry eyes and mouth, something that deeply frustrates and minimises the experiences of Sjögren's patients, because it is so much more than that. It is a chronic and rheumatic condition, also categorised by persistent fatigue, chronic pain and swollen glands. It affects the joints, the thyroid, kidneys, the liver, lungs, skin and nerves. Those with Sjögren's have a significantly increased chance of lymphoma, and for an illness that primarily affects women can create pregnancy complications such as congenital heart block, fetal loss, preeclampsia and premature delivery. The worst part of this illness is that it is invisible. Despite being so open about parts of myself and the obligation I feel to share my lived experience in this role to help others, it is one of the things that I struggle to communicate about the most. Patients are misunderstood as we often present healthy and well, while inside our bodies are literally attacking themselves every single day. Like all illnesses that cannot be seen, it makes managing work, parenting, relationships and everyday life hard, especially in the instance of flare-ups, a sudden and rapid onset of increased symptoms that can be debilitating. Like so many autoimmune diseases, there is limited understanding of Sjögren's syndrome. Diagnosis is difficult, expensive and long, and funding for research or treatment is minimal. As a community, we rely on each other for support, solidarity and understanding, as we operate in a world that doesn't see or sometimes acknowledge our suffering in silence. But the government can fix that by opening the door to this conversation. And I truly hope that the Minister can meet with Sjögren's Australia to learn more about this chronic illness affecting Victorians and to discuss the inclusion of Sjögren's syndrome in public health agendas, the expanding of funding, including for medications, treatments and financial assistance for patients, as well as research to make the lives of people with Sjögren's syndrome just a little bit more comfortable.
So that was Georgie Purcell, and through that speech in Victorian Parliament, we got a meeting with the Health Minister, and now we're placed front and centre of government where we belong. So it was highly powerful, and I'm really, really excited about the future of Sjögren's Australia within Australia, and I'm really looking forward to making bigger connections and stronger connections with you all here today. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Gavin. And now, as you can see, everybody has the same problems. In any continentals, we have the same problems. And these problems are not only for Sjögren disease, the same for all rheumatic patients. And we will advocate for them.